Sometimes a dream is more than just a dream. It's a whisper from your heart. For Santiago, a young shepherd in Andalusia, this was true. His life was simple: sheep, sky, and a book. But then, a dream came to him, twice. In it, a child led him to the Egyptian pyramids, promising hidden treasure. Each time he woke before seeing where the treasure was, the dream became a puzzle he couldn't ignore. He tried to focus on his sheep, but the dream lingered. It was a call to adventure, making his simple life feel incomplete. Santiago began to wonder, what if the dream was real? Should he stay with what he knew or chase a fantasy? The question grew inside him, restless and insistent. We all wonder about the roads not taken. Santiago was just a boy with dusty feet, but a big question was forming. Should he risk everything for a dream? The dream was persistent, planting seeds of curiosity and longing. It spoke of pyramids, gold, and a destiny waiting for him. The call grew louder each night. He loved his sheep, but the dream was a new song. It was a story without an ending, and it began to bother him. He tried to ignore it, but it wouldn't let go. The dream was a call to adventure. Santiago was no different from any of us. He wondered about the dreams he'd put on a shelf, but this dream wouldn't stay quiet. It was the first step on a journey that would change everything. And so Santiago's story began. The first step is always the hardest, leaving behind everything you know. Santiago sought answers from a gypsy woman who told him to go to the pyramids and find the treasure. Her words didn't give him courage. Then he met Melchizedek, the king of Salem, who spoke of a personal legend, what you most want to accomplish. The king said, when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you achieve it. This idea changed everything. The king asked for 1/10 of Santiago's sheep in exchange for a secret, how to find the treasure. Santiago hesitated. His sheep were his life, but the king's words planted a seed of faith. Santiago sold his flock. He stood in Tarifa with money and fear, ready to leave Spain. He was chasing a dream, following his personal legend. The journey had begun. He didn't know what lay ahead, only that he had to go. He had to see if the universe would truly help him. The choice was made. He left behind safety for the unknown. The dream was now a destiny. Santiago was no longer just a shepherd, he was a seeker. The king's words echoed, "Don't give up on your dream." Santiago stepped into the unknown. He was afraid, but he went anyway. The journey had truly begun. He was chasing more than gold, he was chasing purpose. The universe was waiting. Santiago took his first real step, and nothing would ever be the same. Melchizedek was more than a stranger. He was a guide. He gave Santiago's longing a name, personal legend. Fulfilling it, the king said, is our only real obligation. Before Santiago left, the king gave him 2 stones, Urim and Thummim, for yes and no. Use them when you can't read the omens, the king said, but trust your own heart. The king told a story of a baker who gave up his dream for security and never traveled. The biggest obstacle, he warned, is fear of failure. Santiago learned he wasn't just chasing gold, but a sacred quest. The king opened his eyes to the world's secret language: enthusiasm, love, and purpose. Santiago was ready to learn this language. He set sail, leaving behind the familiar. The king's lessons echoed: listen to your heart, read the omens, and don't let fear stop you. Santiago was on a quest for more than treasure. He was searching for meaning. The world, the king said, speaks to those who listen. Santiago was ready to listen. He was ready to follow the path laid out for him. The stones were a tool, but the real answers would come from within. Santiago's journey was now a sacred quest. He was ready to begin. The adventure was truly underway. Santiago's journey was not easy. On his first day in Africa, he was robbed and left with nothing. Alone in a strange land, he felt despair. He used Urim and Thummim. They told him to continue. He found work with a crystal merchant, a man stuck in routine. The merchant dreamed of Mecca but never went, afraid to lose his reason for living. Santiago worked for almost a year, bringing new ideas and success to the shop. He learned some people only dream, afraid to live their dreams. The merchant chose comfort over his personal legend. Santiago saw how easy it would be to stay. He had enough money to return to Spain and buy more sheep. But the dream of the pyramids still called. He realized he didn't want to be someone who was afraid to live his dream. He chose the desert over comfort. He chose to continue his journey. The lesson was clear. Waiting is its own kind of prison. Santiago would not let fear or comfort stop him. He left the crystal shop behind. The dream was stronger than ever. He was determined to find his treasure. The journey continued. Santiago was changed by what he learned. He would not settle for less than his personal legend. The desert awaited. He moved forward, not back. The adventure pressed on. Santiago was ready for whatever came next. Crossing the Sahara, Santiago met an Englishman searching for an alchemist. The Englishman believed all secrets were in books. Santiago learned by watching the world. The Englishman urged Santiago to read, but Santiago found wisdom in the desert itself. They realized people learn in different ways. The Englishman sought answers in symbols and texts. Santiago found them in omens and experience. The world Santiago saw was a book written in signs. At the oasis, the Englishman searched for the alchemist. Santiago trusted his own way of seeing. He learned that experience is the greatest teacher. Both wanted to understand the language of the world. Santiago was discovering it was a language of signs, not just words. The journey taught them both. Santiago was ready for the next lesson. At the oasis, Santiago met Fatima and fell in love. He wanted to stay, but Fatima encouraged him to follow his dream. "Love," she said, "does not keep you from your destiny." An omen led Santiago to the alchemist. The alchemist tested Santiago's courage and understanding. He became Santiago's final teacher. The alchemist taught that the most important lessons must be lived, not taught. He urged Santiago to listen to his heart, where God speaks. Fear, he said, is a greater obstacle than the obstacle itself. Together, they left the oasis for the pyramids. The alchemist taught by example, not books. He showed Santiago that everything has a soul, all part of one great soul of the world. True alchemy is about transforming yourself, not just metal. The journey was about finding the gold within. Santiago learned to trust the language of the world. He was ready for the final test. The alchemist's lessons were simple but profound. Santiago was changed. He was closer than ever to his treasure. The desert would reveal the final secret. The desert is a harsh teacher, full of silence and lessons. Santiago and the alchemist were captured by a warring tribe. The alchemist claimed Santiago could turn himself into the wind. The chief gave Santiago 3 days to prove it, or die. Santiago was terrified. He had no idea how. He spoke to the desert, the wind, and the sun, seeking help. Each told him to look deeper. The sun said, "Speak to the hand that wrote it all." Santiago prayed, reaching into the soul of the world. He realized his soul was part of the soul of God. In that moment, a great wind rose, a sandstorm. The tribesmen were awed. Santiago had not vanished, but he had commanded the elements. He had spoken the language of the world. He passed the test. The desert had taught him its greatest lesson. Fear is the real enemy. Santiago learned to trust in the world's signs. He was free to continue his journey. The alchemist's faith in him was justified. Santiago was transformed. He was ready for the final step. The desert had given him its blessing. The treasure was within reach. Santiago moved forward, changed forever. Near the pyramids, the alchemist showed Santiago true alchemy, turning lead into gold. He gave Santiago a piece, but reminded him, real treasure isn't something you hold. The alchemist left Santiago to finish alone. Santiago reached the pyramids, overwhelmed with joy. He dug where his dream had shone, but found only sand. 2 men found him digging, beat him, and took his gold. Santiago told them about his dream. One man laughed, saying he too had a dream, of treasure in Spain, under a sycamore tree in an old church. Santiago realized the truth. His treasure was back home. The journey had led him full circle. The real treasure was the wisdom he'd gained. The dream had guided him, but the lesson was deeper. Sometimes you must travel far to find what's close. Santiago understood at last. The treasure was real, but so was the journey. He was ready to return home. The story was almost complete. Santiago's heart was full. He knew where to go. Santiago had crossed deserts and seas, only to find his treasure where he began. The journey was never about gold. It was about transformation. He returned to Spain, no longer just a shepherd, but an alchemist of his own life. At the old church, beneath the sycamore tree, he found the chest of gold and jewels. The dream was true, but the real treasure was wisdom, love, and courage. Santiago realized the universe does conspire to help you achieve your personal legend. The gold was proof, but the journey was the reward. As he gazed at the treasure, he felt the wind, carrying the scent of Fatima. He smiled, knowing she was waiting. His journey was not over. A new one was about to begin. Santiago's story teaches us, we all have a personal legend. Sometimes we must travel far to discover what's always been within us. The journey changes us. That change is the greatest treasure. Santiago's adventure was complete, but his life was just beginning. The world speaks to those who listen. The treasure is real, but so is the journey. Santiago found both, and so can we. The end is just another beginning. The story of Santiago is the story of all dreamers. The greatest treasure is to live your legend and to listen to your heart.